I have one. Here's 10 key metrics every real estate investor should know before they invest. So the first metric I want to mention is the net operating income, which is income minus expenses. And this shows you how much money you'll have left over after all of your expenses and before paying the loan. So you'll be able to figure out if you can actually pay for the loan. And then the next one is the cap rate. And this is the NOI divided by the purchase price. And this shows you the unleveraged rate of return of the property. And then the next one is IRR, which is the internal rate of return. And this takes into account like your pro forma modeling, like what is the potential for the property earnings, and also takes into account the financing, and it shows you for your dollar, what you're gonna make. And then the next is cash flow. And this is the NOI minus the debt service. So after you pay the loan, how much are you going to be walking away with? This is why most people invest in real estate. Then the next is the cash on cash return. And this is similar to the IRR, except it's more of a current scenario for and this takes into account your down payment, how much money did you put into the property, and how much income is it producing. So it shows you for every dollar earned, how much percent of a return are you getting annually. And then the next one is the GRM. And this is the purchase price divided by the total gross rent for the property. So it's basically a comparison of how much rent is coming in versus how expensive the property is. And then the seventh one is loan to value ratio. And this is, how much of a loan are you getting divided by the price of the property. Shows you how much leverage you're taking on. The next is the debt service coverage ratio, which shows your cash flow divided by debt service, net income divided by debt service. So this shows you, how much extra you're gonna have left over after paying the loan, and you want to make sure that this number is typically above 1.25. That's what the banks will usually require. And then the next is the operating expense ratio, and this is the expenses divided by total income. So how much does it cost for all the utilities, maintenance, management, etc. This is typically between 30 to 50%, depending on the property. And then next is occupancy rate, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just how many units are full or rented divided by the total number of units. So you want that to be as close to 100% as possible. So overall, if you know all these metrics, you'll be able to take a quick look at a deal and the numbers and figure out whether or not it makes sense. There's plenty more to know other than these, but these are by far the most common. Hope it was helpful.